And then there were 8. Oi boys, welcome to another video on the channel. We are back to make some picks, give our tips and predictions for the first week of finals, but before we do that, let's go back and take a look at how we did in the final round of the regular season. I think we finished on a pretty high note, still a fair bit of red. Ultimately though, I am happy with how we did. So we got 5 correct picks, and in those correct picks we nailed all the try scorers, and we missed 2 of those margins, so that means we got 3 perfect games. Pretty decent way to end the season. Still plenty of red though, 3 red carpets. We did back the Tigers at home, they got pumped. We continuously look past the Cronulla Sharks in the game, they prove us wrong with an impressive win over Manly at Brookvale, and the Dolphins could not roll with the punches from that Newcastle Knights forward pack. Having no presence through the middle of the field and ultimately playing side to side led to their demise. As for the picks we got right, the gimme was the Storm 13 plus into Elikato against my Broncos, and holy, they got smoked. Look, I'm just glad the nightmare season is over. We did think that in their final game the Bunnies would put up a fight against their longtime rivals and keep it close, and that they did, with the skippers going over. And the Raiders game, that was the 3rd perfect game we had. Raiders 1-12, Hudson Young to go over. That game was in doubt. We're so worried about the potential of the Dragons going nuclear and dropping like a 40 bomb on the Raiders, which was definitely possible with them getting their full squad back. And it was looking like that was the case to start the match, but the Raiders doing what they do best, just grinding teams out, hanging in there, and ultimately pulling a close win. That was actually a typical performance out of the Raiders. And the final 2 were the Cowboys and Panthers with Sualii and Dylan Edwards. Now, with the quick recap out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at how these teams line up for the first week of finals and make some picks. So we kick off the 2024 NRL Finals Series Friday with a game between the Panthers versus the Roosters at Bluebird Stadium, and checking out these squads here. Starting with the Panthers here, they welcome back Nathan Cleary. They are back to full strength with his inclusion. So Sualii back in the 6, Brad Schneider, he drops out of the 17 altogether as they've gone for Trent Toilau on the bench in jersey 14. For the Roosters, they welcome back a couple of guns. First of all, in the back 5, Mark Nawangani Tawase and Fetalainga Paunga make way for their regular wingers and Dom Young and Daniel Tupou. In the front row, they welcome back Lindsay Collins, and on the bench, their utility is Zach Docker Clay. Looking at the head-to-head, Penrith pretty much have their number, winning 27 out of 47 played. More recently, they beat them back in round 4, I'm gonna say it was, in a pretty close game. And their form heading into finals, the Panthers are 3 from 5, the Roosters 4 from 5. What I will say about Penrith heading into this final series is probably the most vulnerable they've looked. But with the return of Nathan Cleary, it is hard for me to look past them picking up a win, especially with the Roosters not having their main playmaker in Sam Walker on the side. It kind of sets the stage for the returning Cleary to dominate with his kicking game. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So I said that Penrith do look vulnerable heading into this final series, but the Panthers during finals are a different beast. They haven't lost a finals match since 2021, currently on a 9-match winning streak in finals. So I'm going to lean towards them in this fixture here, and I think the Roosters do keep it close. They do have enough individual talent to, I guess, generate points. For try scorers, I'm going to go with Dylan Edwards again, and yeah, again, it's Penrith 1-12. For Super Saturday, we do get 2 matches, starting with the Storm and the Sharks. With the minor premiers hosting, this is played at Amy Park, and in terms of ins and outs, the Storm will be at full strength, getting Ryan Pappenhausen back at fullback, Munster, Hughes and Harry Grant as well, all on deck. I'm unsure how many games they've played or how many finals games they've played together. Low-key, it might be the first time, but yeah, the Storm will be at full strength. Looking at the Sharkies here, Oregon Galfusi is back on deck and in the starting lineup. Royce Hunt moved to the bench, and Tom Hazelton in reserves because they're unsure if he will be fit enough to take the field, unfortunately. Looking at their form heading into finals, both teams 4 from the previous 5. In their latest head-to-head, it was actually an upset. The Sharks, with a halves pairing of Daniel Anderson and Blake Brayley, got the win in Melbourne, and that was against a Ryan Pappenhausen and Jerome Hughes-less Melbourne side. So you got to think Cronulla are feeling good heading into this match. For me, I'm going to lean with the home side in this, Melbourne. I like the brains trust of their full strength spine. I think they'll ultimately push Melbourne over the line, but I got Cronulla keeping it tight. So give me the Storm 1-12 and to score a try. I'm liking the Storm right edge 45% of the points scored on the Sharks have been through their left side, so coming up against the most in-form right edge of the competition right now, I'm low-key thinking of double dipping with Eligato, or even like a Pappenhausen in support play. I guess the most boring option would be their right winger in Warbrick, but we'll go with Ryan Pappenhausen here. And again, that is the Storm 1-12. And to put a cap on Saturday, we have the first sudden death eliminator with the Cowboys hosting the Knights at Queensland Country-Bank Stadium. Looking at changes starting with the Cowboys. They get back Jordan McLean, he's straight back into the starting side. Sam McIntyre goes to the bench and Tom Mikaele drops out of the 17. For the Knights, they head into this match unchanged. As for their form heading into this, both teams fall from their previous 5 and both teams on a 3-game win streak. My pick will be with the Cowboys in this. I do think they have the ability to pour a lot of points on them, as they have a lot less to worry about or plan for in terms of shutting down Newcastle. I guess it's the downside for having such a dominant presence in KP, even though I feel like having less cooks in the kitchen for Newcastle is the best thing for them, even in the halves with Cogger being the dominant half. It's kind of a double-edged sword. And I feel like the Cowboys will be able to shut them down. They also have the pack to go toe-to-toe with them through the middle, as well as just threats all over the park. Also, Newcastle have never won a game at Queensland Country Bank. They're currently 0 from 5. And saying all that, you can see where I'm going with the margin here. Give me the Cowboys, 13 plus, and to score a try. I'm looking towards the left side of the Cowboys here, and I'm liking Valentine Holmes, who is the man with the hot hand/boot for them at the moment. And to put a cap on week 1 of finals, we have an absolute doozy between the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs and the Manly-Warringah Sea Eagles. Looking at how they line up, the Bulldogs get Bronson Sherry back, Matt Burton back, and Jarrell Skelton will be on the wing for Josh Adokar, who it says here stood himself down this week for all that drama that occurred during the week. So Karaz, after playing in the centres these past couple of weeks, he moves back out to the wing. Moving on to Manly, they welcome back Tom Jabojevic. Dolu Dalgola drops to centre, Tommy Talau on the wing. In the 2, but he'll be outside Garrick. Looking at their utility, they've got Ben Jabojevic in the 14. As for our pick in this game, it's actually the toughest game for me to make a decision on. Looking at their form heading in, the Bulldogs back-to-back losses after catching fire mid to late season. I didn't think they'd look this vulnerable heading into finals, but you know, we said it last week, their playstyle, they're kind of due, especially punching above their weight against all other packs in the league. It was always going to wear on them, and we're kind of seeing the effects heading into the most important part of the year. For Manly, they've won 3 of their previous 5, coming off a bit of a hiding to the Sharkies at home. I truly don't know who to take in this. It is genuinely, as corny or cliche as it is to say, a coin flip between the two. The Bulldogs were not one of the best defensive side in the competition, holding most teams scoreless in the second half. Manly were the ones to send that blue wall crumbling a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure we get as many points as we saw in that game, but I will be going with the experience in the Sea Eagles, DCE, Turbo. When their forward pack want to turn up, they look damn near unstoppable. So yeah, my main reasoning is experience. I'm looking for DCE to have a blinder. There's plenty of experience, particularly in that spine. So you're going to be Manly in a close game, and to score a try, we had him last week, he didn't salute, but we will be spinning the block with Daly Cherry Evans. And that about wraps up my tips and predictions for the first week of finals, boys. As per usual, if you have any thoughts, tips, predictions of your own, let us know in the comment section down below. Winners, margins, try scorers. As always, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to run straight to that like button, and for more rugby league related content or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.